Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Since this is a very short week and just Thanksgiving, I'm just hopping on here really quick to answer a question. So I had a question that came in and it said, I'm realizing that there are many times throughout the day that the Lord is speaking to me. But with so many thoughts flying through our heads, how do I best train myself to hear and heed? Well, just like there are different kinds of learners, there are visual learners who learn by sight, by seeing and reading things. I'm seeing charts and graphs, that kind of thing, pictures. There are auditory learners who learn by hearing different things. They, learn better by hearing a speaker rather than by reading. There are kinesthetic learners who need to be actively engaged and they use their hands a lot, touch and movement, motion. ADHD people specifically, they need to dissipate any excessive energy that they have. And so sometimes they can learn best by doing something else while they're listening and learning, like bouncing a ball or playing with a fidget spinner or something like that. So just like there are different ways that we learn, there are different ways God created us all, each uniquely different, and there are different ways that we can receive and process what we are hearing from God in different ways that He speaks to us. We talked about lots of different ways that He speaks to us, but there's different ways that we can receive and process what it is that we're hearing from Him. So some people can hear better when they're quiet and still, maybe when they're in their car or maybe in their prayer closet. There is a motion anointing, so you can hear the Lord better and receive better when you're doing something physical, like running, bike riding, doing laundry or dishes. Maybe you're pulling weeds, and those are the times when you hear the Lord better. There are people who hear the Lord better when they are in nature. So they could go walking or running through the woods, and when they're in nature, they hear Him better. Sometimes people can hear the Lord better when there's water, especially moving water like oceans or rivers. So a lot of times people, when they're in the shower, they will hear from the Lord very clearly because they have that kind of an anointing where they hear when they have the water. Beethoven, famous composer, he used to dip his head in cold water before composing. And when he would practice, he would also pour water on his hands or his head to the point that his clothes would be drenched. It would drip through the floor to the ceiling underneath. And so his neighbors and people who were hosting him would get upset because he would have water leaking through below. So there are different things like that can happen, different ways that we can receive, be more creative, hear the Lord better, and process what it is that He's saying to us. So in 2 Kings 3, Elisha called for a harpist. Having music helped him hear from the Lord. So maybe it's just a certain spot that you sit in your house. It could be by the fireplace, in a sunroom, or maybe a certain chair, or while you're in your bed. Maybe you're here from the Lord while you're doing something like reading the Bible. So a lot of times God will speak to us while we're reading the Bible. Or maybe it's when we're praying in tongues, and that's when we hear the Lord the most clearly. It could have to do with the listening aspect. And so maybe when you're listening to a sermon or hearing a teaching on YouTube, and that's when you start to hear the Lord speaking to you more clearly. So find out where and how you best hear from the Lord. Learn how to cultivate that and how to hear and recognize His voice. And so then when you're somewhere where you only have a few seconds to respond, like maybe you're in the grocery store and the Lord tells you to give $20 to somebody, you have learned to hear His voice and know that it's Him. You recognize that it's Him speaking. So when you just have those few seconds, you're able to then heed and respond and be obedient to what He is saying. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that answered that question. I wish you all a blessed Thanksgiving. Take care.